Welcome back to Blue Collar Retirement and the final part of our series on investing in retirement. In the last two episodes, we talked about interest bearing investments and the role of the stock market in retirement. Today, we're bringing everything together by talking about one of the most important parts of retirement planning, withdrawing your funds. Because saving for retirement is only half the challenge. Eventually, the question becomes, how do I turn those savings into income in a way that supports your lifestyle and lasts as long as you need it to? And that's where retirement becomes very different from your working years. During your working years, most financial planning revolves around accumulation. You're earning income, contributing to retirement accounts, and hopefully growing your investments over time. Retirement changes the direction of the cash flow. Now, instead of adding to accounts consistently, you may be withdrawing from them to cover expenses. That transition sounds simple, but it changes how investment decisions affect your financial future. When you're no longer earning a paycheck, your portfolio begins to support your lifestyle directly. That means the timing, amount, and strategy behind withdrawals becomes extremely important. For many retirees, income comes from several different places at once. Social Security is the prime source of retirement income for most Americans, especially blue collar Americans. Some people may also have pensions. Pensions have become rare, but we still see them with government employees and those who belong to unions. Beyond that, retirement income may come from investment accounts like IRAs, 401ks, savings accounts, interest bearing investments, or brokerage accounts. The goal is to create a system where these income sources work together in a sustainable way. That's why retirement planning is often less about chasing returns and more about creating dependable cash flow. One of the biggest challenges in retirement is that withdrawals permanently remove money from your portfolio. During market downturns, this becomes even more important. If investments decline while withdrawals are happening at the very same time, it can put additional pressure on the portfolio and reduce how long the money lasts. That's why the withdrawal phase requires a different mindset than the accumulation phase. You're no longer just asking, how much can this grow? Now you're also asking, how much can I safely take out and still have funds for the rest of my life? One concept many people hear about is the 4% rule. This guideline suggests that retirees may be able to withdraw 4% of their portfolio annually, adjusted for inflation, while still allowing the portfolio to potentially last for decades. For example, someone with $1 million saved might withdraw $40,000 per year. This number would adjust each year depending on the inflation rate. The most common inflation number is the Consumer Price Index, or CPI. Over the last 30 years, the inflation rate has averaged 2.5%. Using the 4% rule would suggest that you increase the annual amount of your withdrawals by 2.5% on average. But it's important to remember this is a guideline, not a guarantee. Market performance, inflation, taxes, healthcare costs, and spending habits all affect how sustainable withdrawals really are. Some retirees may need less, others may require more. The right withdrawal strategy depends on the individual situation. One of the biggest retirement risks for retirees that they face is called sequence of returns risk. This refers to the danger of experiencing poor market performance early in retirement while also taking withdrawals. If losses happen during the early years of retirement, the portfolio has less opportunity to recover because money is consistently being removed. If your retirement savings are all invested in the stock market and there's a significant correction, it can challenge your withdrawal rate and how to keep up with inflation. This is why retirement investing is not just about average returns, timing matters too. Two retirees could have the same average return over 20 years and still end up with very different outcomes depending on when market declines occur. A successful withdrawal strategy usually involves balance. Some assets may be designed for stability and income. Others may still remain invested for growth and inflation protection. This is one reason retirees often maintain a diverse portfolio instead of moving everything into cash. Having a mix of investments can help provide flexibility. Stable assets may help cover short term expenses, while growth oriented investments continue working for the future. The goal is to avoid putting too much pressure on any one part of the portfolio. Taxes also play a major role in retirement withdrawals. Many retirement accounts were funded with pre tax dollars, which means withdrawals are generally taxable as ordinary income. That means the amount you withdraw is not always the amount you keep. For example, if you need $1,000 per month from your IRA to meet your budget goals and your effective tax rate is 10%, then you need to withdraw $1,112 from the IRA to have $1,000 for what you need. Large withdrawals can affect tax brackets, Medicare premiums, and the taxation of your Social Security benefits. That's why withdrawal planning and tax planning often go hand in hand. Sometimes the order in which money is withdrawn can make a meaningful difference over time. Currently, at the age of 73, retirees are required to begin taking withdrawals from pre-tax retirement accounts through required minimum distributions, or RMDs. These required withdrawals add another layer to retirement income planning because they happen whether you need the money or not. And if they are not taken properly, penalties can be significant. RMDs are one reason it's important to think ahead about taxes and withdrawal strategies before retirement, not just after. One important part of retirement planning is flexibility. Some retirees assume they must spend the exact same amount every year, no matter what happens in the market or economy. But in reality, spending often changes over time. Being flexible with discretionary spending during difficult market periods can help reduce pressure on the portfolio and improve long-term sustainability. Retirement income planning is not about perfection, it's about adaptability. The emotional side of withdrawing funds is often underestimated. For decades, people are taught to save and avoid touching retirement accounts. Then suddenly retirement arrives, and now the goal is to spend those savings responsibly. That adjustment can feel uncomfortable at first. Some retirees become overly cautious and are afraid to spend money they've worked hard to save. Others may withdraw too aggressively early without fully understanding the long-term impact. Confidence in retirement often comes from understanding where income is coming from and having a plan for how withdrawals are managed over time. Here's an example of how to build a withdrawal strategy in retirement. First, let's look at funds that need to be very liquid, meaning you need to have them available in a very short period of time. Look at larger costs that can occur in retirement. What would it cost to replace the furnace or your roof on your home? Having an emergency fund is always important, especially in retirement. Next, what is the total of your essential bills every month? This would include your taxes, utilities, insurances, cell phones, and eating, along with some entertainment. This number is what should be covered by guaranteed income. Social Security is one source of guaranteed lifetime income. A pension would be a second source. This is where many people will use an annuity to set aside some retirement funds for a guaranteed lifetime withdrawal rate. By building a plan that provides more lifetime income than the essential expenses, you can have the confidence and peace of mind that your essential bills will always be paid in retirement. You can review an earlier video we did on the basics of annuities in this series. I will have a future video that will go into more specific details of how an annuity can be used for lifetime income. Once you have the essential bills covered, you can consider a variety of options for other savings and your goals for living in retirement. Take some time to consider your tolerance for taking risk with your retirement savings. When you are adding to your savings through payroll deduction or other systematic ways using the market would have been important. Now that you have systematic deposits and now need to use the money, risk takes on a new meaning. Some final thoughts for you today. Withdrawing funds in retirement is about more than simply taking money out of an account. It's about creating a sustainable income strategy that supports your lifestyle, manages risk, accounts for taxes, and helps your savings last over time. Retirement planning doesn't stop once you retire. In many ways, that's when a different phase of planning begins. Throughout this three-part series, we've talked about interest-bearing investments, the role of the stock market, and now how withdrawals tie everything together. The goal isn't to eliminate uncertainty completely. It's to create a plan that gives structure, stability, and confidence as you move through retirement. Thanks for joining us for this series on investing in retirement here on Blue Collar Retirement. We'll continue breaking down important retirement topics in a way that's practical, understandable, and focused on real-life decisions people face every day.
Safety first, retirement, ensuring your financial dreams.